is Valley News Live at 10.
Breaking news this evening, Fargo Mayor Tim Mahoney is being investigated by the North Dakota Bureau of Criminal Investigation after authorities say he publicly revealed a name from a list of police chief applicants. By state law, that list must remain confidential. We reached out to the city of Fargo and they shared this statement. The referral of this question to the North Dakota BCI is within the standard procedures for both the Fargo Police Department and the city of Fargo impartially. A city spokesperson says they will fully cooperate with all aspects of the inquiry with full transparency. The city also says since the issue has now been transferred to the BCI investigators, requests for comment must go directly to Mayor Mahoney. He will decide whether he wants to talk. Valley News Live did reach out to Mayor Mahoney for a comment, but we haven't heard back yet. Stick with Valley News Live as we continue to bring you updates on this investigation. Police need your help finding a man they believe was involved in a fight that left one man dead in Fargo. Police responded to an incident on West Track Drive Tuesday morning. They found Cameron Camacho of Moorhead with life-threatening injuries. He died at the hospital yesterday. Detectives arrested Jonathan Hunt of Fargo for conspiracy to commit aggravated assault. And now police are looking for Larry Evans Jr. of Fargo. He is 6'5", 300 pounds, with short black hair. He may be driving a gold 2005 Pontiac G6. His North Dakota license plates are 073 DBU. You can call Fargo Police if you have any information on Evans Jr. The North Dakota National Guard is practicing for targeted cyber attacks if one were to happen in the state. If a business or government entity were hacked or lost cyber information from a natural disaster, they can request help through North Dakota Emergency Services. They would then offer help from the National Guard's cybersecurity team. This week, that team is training on how to restore a network if all information and data is lost. The part-time team has the ability to assemble and help a company in need in hours.
They need to be able to build that structure from the ground up. So that includes servers, operating systems, clients, VMware, whatever the need is, we have to be able to build those services and infrastructure from the ground up.
Many of the men and women have a background in information technology or networking. Lieutenant Helly says they haven't been called to assemble in the last 6 months. However, these hands-on exercises keep them prepared and ready when needed. Former North Dakota Chief Justice Gerald Vandewall has tested positive for COVID-19. That news was confirmed by State Supreme Court Chief Justice John Jensen. Vandewall turns 87 this month and still serves on the court. Jensen confirms he is receiving medical treatment. He adds court functions are not disrupted as most employees had been working remotely even before the test. So far, no other members of the court have tested positive. State health officials in North Dakota are confirming 122 new cases of COVID-19 and another death linked to the illness. In total, 109 deaths have been linked to COVID-19 in the state. There are now 1,119 active cases with 46 patients hospitalized. Nearly 6,000 people are listed as recovered. In Minnesota, there are 867 new cases, along with 7 newly reported deaths. The death toll there now sits at 1,636. 319 people are hospitalized. And we'd like to remind you about a COVID-19 testing event that will be held in Grand Forks tomorrow. It'll be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the University of North Dakota's High Performance Center. You must register before attending the event, and you can do that by going to the website right there on your screen. With over a month until the first day of school, some West Fargo parents say they hope more plans are in the works for students in special education and those with individual education plans or IEPs. They say they're worried their children might otherwise fall behind. One woman told us her 4th grade daughter, who has had an IEP since kindergarten, is nervous to go back to school due to the struggles she had with distance learning last spring. Her mom hopes the new IEP focuses directly on helping students who are learning at home.
There's a lot of children and parents that rely on these IEPs to make their children have a successful learning school year.
West Fargo Schools says IEP students will not be able to be on site every day. They say there is a possibility for additional intervention on Wednesdays, depending on staffing, transportation, space, and social distancing guidelines. A bittersweet moment for family and friends welcoming the return of a loved one with good news. A Fargo woman spent her entire life battling serious health issues, and tonight she's back home and one step closer to a normal life. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockey has her emotional story, and it's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
There may be a light at the end of the tunnel for Heather Behrens. She's a Fargo woman who spent the last 30 years in and out of the hospital.
I never cried so hard in my life. That was horrible. Because you couldn't kiss her goodbye. She wasn't there. She was literally just taken.
Just hours after Heather was born, doctors diagnosed her with a lengthy list of health problems, including pulmonary stenosis, dextrocardia, and a splena, meaning she doesn't get enough blood flow to her lungs, her heart sits on the wrong side of her chest, and she doesn't have a spleen to fight infections. By the time Heather was just 6 years old, she had 5 major heart surgeries.
I learned to live in a hospital. I really did.
Defying the odds, she went on to live a pretty normal life. It wasn't until she turned 15 that doctors discovered she had what's called situs inversus, which means all of her organs are mirrored from their normal position.
There was days that it just took everything out of me.
Heather is now 30 years old, and after a tough last year, local doctors sent her to see the experts at the U of M.
Okay, we'll go, because at this point, like, I want to feel better. I have things I want to do in my life.
She spent the last week in the cities being evaluated for a heart transplant. So far, so good.
It'd be a gift. That
Definitely.
In itself, a gift.
I mean, it'd be different for me.
Heather's next trip to the cities will be in November. In the meantime, she's soaking up her time with the ones she loves most. In Fargo, Courtney Lockey, Valley News Live.
There is a GoFundMe set up if you would like to help the family. We have links on our website. Just download the VNL News app.